Essentially, when I was president, which of course is something I never aspired to be, it just kind of happened. You stay on a board long enough, you get involved, you care more and more, and you want to be there when somebody needs you to be there. And as many presidents before me, I'm sure that was similar. One of the biggest issues for me personally was a feeling of disconnect amongst the membership, and it's the board and the congregants, and I really felt that we needed to do more to get in a personal contact with the congregants. And one of the things I started was at the High Holy Days in Passover, I developed they called it the Shemesh, meaning, I called it the Sunshine Committee, and Rabbi Greenbaum told me that sunshine is Shemesh. And we nicknamed it the Shemesh Committee, and their job, and I tapped people who didn't do anything for the temple, and I would see them at an oneg and say, hey, how would you like to make some phone calls? And it's scripted. All you have to do is say, I'm so-and-so on behalf of the temple. I just want to wish you a happy holiday. And it was very interesting because the first year the responses were, you know, I didn't want to do this, Gloria, but you asked me and I did it. But how rewarding it was, because people got such wonderful feedback from the people that they called. I mean, you're not asking for money, you know, or the pregnant pause, you know, they don't say anything for a while. Is, no, we're just calling to wish you and your family a happy holiday. And at Passover, we would ask if you needed a place to go, let us know, and we'll set you up with a family so that you're not alone. And so we've been doing this continually now for these couple of years, and it's been very meaningful on both sides. And it was great because I think we've gotten some people involved more in temple. By starting them making the phone calls, they see how rewarding that experience was with something, a very simple act. It took 5 minutes maybe per person. You could be done in an hour or so, and the rewards were just incredible. We had grown so quickly, as you've heard from previous interviews, and so it was very needed, and it's still very needed. And something I know is a goal for all of us is to get that personal contact back. We used to call ourselves the Warm Reform Congregation, but we want people to feel when they come into the sanctuary and they meet us that we are truly warm. It's not just a story they heard at one time, but we truly are, as large as we may be, that we still warm. A big temple with a small town feeling, and that's something I think is very important for ongoing membership and commitment. Keep the members, not just drop out after bar mitzvah time, you know, and so that's a big concern. Another concern was getting ourselves financially put together, financially fit, do a better job with our record keeping through computer systems we were using. We always seemed to get information, and we'd always follow it with, well, we're not sure how reliable these figures are, or how, you know, we can count on this data, and that was always very important. Biggest challenge actually was shortly after I was became president, I knew that we were having difficulty with the administrator. She was good with people, but wasn't a manager, and we had some issues there. So for the first time in my life, I had to let somebody go. And I'm a teacher. Teachers don't fire students or parents of students. You know, you deal with what you have. But it wasn't as simple as doing that. We had to make this move. And then, and that was really hard for me to do that. And then within a few months, I was told by our rabbi that he's leaving. And of course, no president ever expects that. And it was, oh my God, what do I do now? And I think now that we look past it and we see how successful our process was, and I appointed 2 people that were just the most phenomenal leaders. We created a great committee, wonderful people. I was really good, and it was hard, again, for me to say no to people who said, well, I was a president, or I was a this, and I should be on the committee. And inevitably, those people wouldn't get asked to be on the committee, because we needed to really touch base with the membership at large and touch many different demographics. And I think the best part of the presidency was, one, having a very successful experience with this committee, the focus groups that preceded it, connecting, just as my goal was to connect with as many people as possible. In hindsight, I see that the rabbi in his retiring early enabled me to even meet that goal, even in a better way, because we connected with so many people who feel so good. And then the next best bright spot, of course, was we hired Rabbi here, Rabbi Ted, and you can see the level of energy is mutual from the congregants as well as from the rabbi and his wife too. It makes a big difference. And it's been exciting to be, having been part of that whole process, and to be sitting here today with wonderful people who preceded me, and I feel that we're in a good place. We have problems, but I feel that we have our hands on those problems, and we're moving in a really good direction. So let's see, anything else? Advice? I think advice would be, is to always be a team player. And just because you're president doesn't mean you're the boss. I think it's important to empower people and to make them feel part of the team, because then they have a buy-in in the outcome. And that's very important. And also, when you empower people and give them an assignment, let go a little bit. Be there, listen, trust them. Trust your judgment in who you picked, and just trust them to do their job. And then they will feel better, and everybody feels terrific about it. And I think that probably sums it up, unless you have a question. Okay, thank you so much.